Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia Season 4, Episode 4. So, first scene of the episode, and there's already so much to unpack with it. First off, the whole thing with Mirio flipping Izuku's mask over his head. A simple enough moment and scene to be sure. But in greater context, it really shows volumes in how Mirio differs from Izuku. And actually, it goes even beyond just from jeopardizing Night Eye's operation. Because the one most important thing about being a hero, and especially about being a symbol of peace, is that you can never show panic or fear to you can never show panic or fear in front of your enemy, and especially in front of the ones you're saving. Otherwise, the people will lose hope. And even though Izuku did eventually find his confidence, and he found reason in order to stand up to overhaul Chisaki, um, just in that one simple instance of Izuku hesitating, just the fact that Izuku did hesitate, while obviously Miro did not, already shows the difference. A symbol of peace can't hesitate in moments like that. They always have to put on a face of bravery, even if even again it goes back to what All Might said. A symbol of peace can't. A symbol of peace has to always smile. A symbol of peace always has to put on a face of bravery and heroism in order to truly give the people hope. He and Mirio did that. Izuku did, but he basically he pretty much he also let his emotions falter there too. So yeah. Um, already it's subtle if you think about it, but it's there as well. And yeah, let's talk about Eddie in this episode, because in no subtle terms, she's being abused, or her powers. Well, her powers are mostly, but yeah, Eddie is an outright case of child abuse, and and look, I'm honestly just revisiting this material makes me realize how much of a dark place this was for My Hero Academia to go. I mean, obviously with Horikoshi at the time, he managed to find he managed to find a little of that workaround of the fact that she was of the fact that her of the fact that they were trying to the fact that they were using her quirk for they were trying to take advantage of her quirk. But yeah, this is outright child abuse, and it's like, and we've seen this tackled before with Todoroki and Endeavor and whatnot. But just to but with all that, it was mostly just alluded to. With this, it's for the most part being outright shown. It's being shown to us, and it's being shown to us just through it's being shown to us outright, almost honestly. um and it's just and yeah, just seeing My Hero Academia tackle something like this is I always think, every time My Hero Academia tackles a dark subject like this, it's like, okay, they're actually really going in a pretty damn dark place with this. They're they're literally they're literally, even though they're still alluding to it, they're just kind of outright showing us how the abuse is taking place too. So it's like, damn, yeah. Um, and weird. Okay, and this is where things get. I don't want to say. I don't want to say weird, but definitely. And here's the fucking thing. Here's the fucking thing when it comes to the abuse. when it comes to the abuse in this episode, and the reveal of Eri pretty much going through this of overall just kind of abusing her in one way or another, is that in the way My Hero Academia is tackling it in this instance, it's one of those things that, believe it or not, it what pretty much what Overhaul is doing is that the abuse in some respects, it's going to humanize like pretty much Chisaki Overhaul, or at the very least his motives. Trust me, it seems all very harsh, and definitely, and don't get me wrong, the abuse in itself is definitely a pretty much unjustifiable act. But when the deeper we go into this arc, and the more you'll learn as to why Chisaki Overhaul is doing this, it does add, it at least adds a little bit more of a, it at least humanizes his motives. Like, again, I'm not condoning any of the abuse that pretty much I'm not condoning the abuse that Eri has obviously gone through in this episode, but the abuse that's been revealed that Eri's gone through in this episode. But at the same time, when the further you go in, the more you learn of what Overall's motives are for doing what he's doing. It does it does add a little validity to it. It's still unjustifiable, but a little validity to it as well. And yeah, let's talk about the major bombshell reveal in this episode, that All Might is destined to die, which it pretty much, okay, in many respects, this just adds a whole. This not only adds a whole new layer to. This not only adds a whole new layer to pretty much All Might's need in order to find a successor and put perspective on that, but it just adds so much validity to basically everything that has happened to All Might up to this point. Like every single fight with a villain ever since the Nomu, ever since the fight with All For One, like every single fight that basically All Might has been in up to this point, he's basically treated it as pretty much as basically if it were pretty much his last. But of course in each and every one of those fights as well, Izuku has been there as well in order to somewhat give it a bit of give All Might that extra motivation in order to fight on. So in that, it does add this perspective in that sense. But now here's the big but about it. If you are a manga reader like me and have caught up to where the manga is currently, you'll know that whole thing of Izuku and All Might agreeing in order to fight Destiny and fight back against this prediction of All Might's death. You'll know All Might's death is pretty much right back on track to happening. Like, it literally is. I mean, don't get me wrong. A small part of me still does share the optimistic hope of fighting against the future that basically Night Eyes predicted. But based on what is happening in the manga right now, it's kind of hard to say it's not going to happen. And the thing is, Horikoshi is such a master manipulator in respect to this one story detail. Because beyond this point and beyond this arc, you'll see moments and developments and whatnot that'll basically give off the idea that All Might can be saved from the shadow of death that's been predicted. Then you'll get into a total 180 of the last two arcs I'm currently reading in the manga, and suddenly realize that prediction, it's growing ever closer than it has before. And the thing is with the prediction too is that in a way I think it's being, I've said this before in my manga reviews, but in a way it's kind of being served pretty much in order to serve a specific story purpose. but it's from still being treated very seriously. And yeah, I so yeah, it's like I want to remain optimistic about the chances of this of this of All Might escaping death, but at the same time, I have to. And basically, in terms of any anime only watchers out there, I gotta be real with all you folks. It's less likely to happen. It's less likely to happen than you think. Um, and let's talk about the battling perspectives between All Might and Night Eye when it comes to when it came to the whole question of who the successor should be. Because in many respects, when you look at the substance of both their arguments and just the argument as a whole, they're both kind of right when it comes in terms of the qualities of successor for All for One, and what the successor of All for One should be, how he should act, what he should be as a hero, but and they've both brought up valid arguments. Where things broke down, however, and what they failed to understand is basically just that they were both right, and that they could both compromise and find someone who basically was like that. And obviously inevitably Izuku is going to become the pretty much hero with both of those qualities that they both butted heads about. But yeah, it's like at the time they could have worked together and pretty much they could have worked together, and basically it's said, but they really could have worked together and actually and helped Izuku become become the and help Izuku become like the symbol of peace. He should be faster, but because it's just All Might, he's like All Might's working alone here, but it didn't have to be that way. Um, now now with this episode, we also get another post-credit scene, which honestly I think at this point we should expect that to happen quite a bit, because I've said it before, I'll say it again. This arc is pretty damn front-loaded and pretty damn long. Like in terms of where this episode ended and on what chapter, it was like chapter 30, chapter 31, and this one goes all the way to like chapter 30 and a little bit of chapter 31, I think. But this one lasts all the way to like chapter 162. So yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot that's probably going to be covered like even after the credits. But so yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for this review, guys. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and list your Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.